Welcome to Life Unscripted, Adulting Uncovered, the podcast for anyone out here doing their best to grow, heal, and not totally lose it in the process. I'm your host, Brennan, and if you ever felt like the only adult still figuring it out, don't worry, you're not alone. This is the place for you. Let's stop pretending and start talking. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Life Unscripted, Adulting Uncovered. We are well into 2026, and we are into our second season of this podcast. And the other day, I was talking with a friend of mine, one of my really close best friends, and he was going through a breakup, and he was clearly upset and frustrated and somewhat let down. And I think that that's really understandable to be having some of those emotions. We put expectations in relationships. When they don't go our way, we do feel let down, frustrated, and upset. But there were some other things that were coming up for him, and it wasn't just about the relationship that was ending. It was about some aspects of his life in general. And at one point, he said something, and I hear this a lot. He said, once I fix these things in my life, I'll be happy. And I asked him something really simple. I said, if you had those things today, what about you would actually change? Like, what about your life would change tomorrow if those things that you want happened? And he paused, and he gave me his answer. It's a question that most of us never asked. And I hear this everywhere, and probably more often than I'd like. You know, a few times I've heard from younger women say, well, they don't want to buy a house until they meet someone, and then they'll do that with that person. Or I have a friend who won't travel unless he has a partner or someone to go with. And meanwhile, life just keeps happening, and they age, they don't go see the parts of the world that they want to see, and they don't buy the house. And people often say, you know, once I get the job, once I move, once I meet the person, then I'll be happy. Why do we do that? I don't understand why we do that. Why do we keep waiting for something outside of us to change before we allow ourselves to fully live? And this is a fundamental yet powerful question. It's like we've collectively decided that our life hasn't started yet, or something is stopping us from being present in the life we live today. And a lot of us have outsourced responsibility for our own happiness. And I'm using this term of outsourcing more in my content because I'm really resonating with how true this is. We've given up the responsibility to other people. We show up to relationships not whole, waiting for others to complete us. That's our job. It's not someone else's job. We show up to life waiting for someone else to make us rich or to make us happy. That hustle is ours to own. That happiness is ours to own. And we place it on a relationship, a milestone, a life event, a trip, a person, anything that is a version of ourselves that doesn't exist today. And the problem with that is so simple. If you don't like yourself now, no external change is going to fix that. A new relationship doesn't heal a fractured relationship with yourself. It distracts you from it probably temporarily. Money will make you happy only temporarily. You'll just be driving your Ferrari with emptiness inside of you, and that hole inside you is going to grow and grow and grow, and you can't possibly buy enough Ferraris to fill that hole. And this feels logical, but it's not. And what makes this belief so convincing is that it sounds reasonable. Because of course, life will be better once things improve, right? But here's what the research and lived experience both show. People who delay happiness until conditions are perfect never actually arrive. Because once one thing changes, your mind finds the next thing that's missing. And the finish line keeps moving, and it keeps going forward, and the goalpost keeps on moving. And I cannot possibly finish this episode unless I talk a little bit about social media for a second. We consume so much content that we don't even realize what we're absorbing anymore. We see perfect couples and curated lifestyles and moments caught in someone else's timeline in reels that show these picture-perfect moments in relationship timelines. And subconsciously, we start borrowing these expectations that were really never ours to begin with. And we repeat things out loud that didn't even originate from us. They just sound familiar. And this is how deeply external narratives shape our internal world. If you think about that for a second, an example of that would be how big brands pump tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into ad campaigns that you get served so many times, and then it just suddenly pops into your head and you're like, oh my God, I need to go check out that thing, or I need this thing because you just saw it or you've seen it 100 times. And your life happens the same way because your brain, it doesn't know the difference between shoes and handbags and workout equipment and dreams and goals and relationships. And at the core of all this is really one thing. It's your relationship with yourself. If you don't enjoy your own company, and if you believe you're incomplete on your own, then every external thing becomes a crutch instead of a choice. And we then feel like I need this to be whatever. Or once I have that, then I can be this. And that's when life starts feeling like it's on hold. What can you do starting today? The first thing you can do is stop asking yourself, what needs to happen before I'm allowed to live? And you have to start asking yourself, how do I want to show up in my life right now? What do I want to be today? What do I want to do today? How do I want to show up in my life today? You take the trips because you want the experience of life. You build stability because it matters to you, and if that means a house, you do it. And you create joy without waiting for permission. And it's not because life is perfect, because everybody has bad days, but because it's your life. And you only get one, and you have to do it right according to you. So guys, I want to close with this. You don't need a different life to feel fulfilled. You don't need the perfect relationship to be happy, and you don't need $100 million in your bank account to be happy today. You need a different relationship with yourself. And no relationship and no life milestone or personal achievement can replace that. Your life isn't on hold unless you say it is. Don't wait for something that was never meant to complete you. I'm Brennan. This is Life Unscripted Adulting Uncovered. Stop waiting for someone else before you start living as yourself. Be kind to yourself along the way. Keep showing up. And remember, life is so much better when we stop pretending and we start talking. I will catch you next time. Take care.